Samuel Rutherford said something very important about grace and pain and hardships. Grace grows best when? Not in summertime, not in springtime, not even in fall. Grace grows best in winter. When it seems to be cold, when it seems to be dark, when it seems to be there's really no sun or no light ever close or a significant amount of light or sun, it grows best during winter time. Again, give up grace or give in to grace. And I'd like us to tackle maybe something that, as we just probably close up our series and the thoughts for today. You see, I think there's something that is important for us to learn when we experience disappointments or failures. If there's probably one thing that it should allow us to do, it should not allow us to feel afraid of failing. Now, I don't know if you can relate, but oftentimes I find myself still struggling with that from time to time, still struggling to not fail, still being afraid of failing from time to time. But maybe if there's something that hopefully you and I can bring home with us from this message, is that we should not be afraid to fail. We should not be afraid to make mistakes. We should not be afraid of experiencing pain. There's a man I'd like to introduce to you today. His name is Ryan Leake. And he began to think about this much more deeply. Ryan Leake is someone who began to ask, maybe we've heard this question before. The question is, what would you do if you knew you would never fail? What would you attempt in your life if you knew you could not fail? So Ryan Leake took that question literally, and he answered, he said, I would be in the NBA. Now, maybe there's a lot of Filipinos that are watching. How many of us Filipinos can relate? We want to be in the NBA, even though our stats are 5'5", and so on. So Ryan Leake said, if there's something I do, I could not fail. Let's take it literally. I'm going to go to the NBA, right? So this is what he did. I'm going to reach out to the Phoenix Suns, he said. And I told the Phoenix Suns, as he was talking to their trainers and the staff, he said, my goal for this one thing is I'm going to chase failure. I let them know that I was an All-American, I was a D3 in college, but I never pursued the pros. He said, I'm 29 years old, 6'3" tall, not 5'5", 185 pounds, and I'm looking for failure. So they had no reason to give me, a basketball fan, a shot to make it to the roster, but they did. And so Ryan Leake comes out with this video, or maybe this insight, very deep insight, about the importance of chasing failure. Question, what if chasing failure will take us farther than chasing success? And Ryan Leake said this in one of his documentaries about this portion. He said, because one of the characteristics that separate great ballers from your average ballers is how they respond to missed shots. So it's like the weight room, for example, when you train, when you go exercise, it's not about getting physically stronger. It's about developing the discipline. It's about telling yourself, your heart, your mind, I need to get a second wind, or maybe even a third if necessary. It's about why we work out. It's why we show up. It's about why we keep on going, even if it hurts, even if we fail, because the failure allows us to grow. The pain allows us to grow. Again, Maya Angelou said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. I'd like us to look at some of these people in our history, and I think Coach Amber shared this notes to me before. Look at how these stories of people who were, in a sense, did not become afraid to fail. Walt Disney, of course we know him, the man who gave us Disneyland, Disney World, and Mickey Mouse. His first animation company went bankrupt. He was fired from a news editor because they said he lacked an imagination. And legend has it, he was turned down 302 times before he got financing for creating Disney World. Look at this next person, Albert Einstein. I specifically chose this picture because I like this picture of him, because reports say he didn't speak until he was 4. He didn't read until he was 7. His parents and teachers thought he was mentally handicapped. That's why I chose this picture. He turned out only to win a Nobel Prize and be the face of modern physics. Dr. Seuss gave us Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and the Ham, books every child reads nowadays. At first, many think he would not succeed. 27 different publishers rejected Dr. Seuss's first book to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. What about here in LA, here in California? Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg applied and denied 2 times to the prestigious USC Film School. Instead, he went to Cal State University in Long Beach, shout out. He went on to direct some of the biggest movie blockbusters in history, worth $2.7 billion, and in 1994 got an honorary degree from the film school that rejected him twice. If you're a basketball fan, he's also arguably the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Famous from being cut from his high school basketball team, turned out to be the greatest basketball player, never let failure deter him. He's known for this quote, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I've been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Thomas Edison, no list of success or failures would be complete without this man who gave us inventions, including the light bulb. He knew failure would not stop him. If I find 10,000 ways of something that won't work, I haven't failed. I'm not discouraged, because every wrong attempt discarded is another step forward. So, question, what if chasing failure will take us farther than chasing success?